We expected technical updates. We expected mission timelines and heat shield data and orbital mechanics. What we got instead, at the April 16th press conference at Johnson Space Center, was 4 human beings who went to the moon and came back unable to fully explain what happened to them. Reid Wiseman, mission commander, said it plainly. It's very hard to fully grasp what we just went through. Victor Glover said the gratitude of what they saw and did was, and this is his exact word, too big to just be in one body. Christina Koch said when her husband told her she had made a difference, it brought her to tears. These are not people who cry easily. These are astronauts, people selected from thousands of candidates precisely because they remain calm under pressure. And the moon broke something open in all 4 of them that a week of debriefs and medical tests had not yet closed. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what they experienced up there, and why it matters more than any technical milestone from the mission. First, what Artemis II actually was, because most coverage got this wrong. This was not a moon landing. There were no boot prints, no flag planted, no surface samples collected. Artemis II was a slingshot, a precisely calculated high-speed arc that sent 4 humans around the far side of the moon and back. The Orion spacecraft, living area roughly the size of 2 minivans, carried Reid Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen on a 10-day journey that took them farther from Earth than any human being had ever traveled in history. Farther than Apollo 13, farther than any Apollo mission, the farthest any human has ever been from home. And at the peak of that arc, on April 6th, they crossed to the far side of the moon. No radio contact with Earth. Complete communications blackout. Just 4 humans, a spacecraft, and the lunar surface filling their windows, a landscape of craters that has not changed in billions of years. A graveyard of cosmic impacts stretching in every direction, completely silent, completely still, lit only by reflected starlight. Wiseman turned to Glover and said, and this is his direct quote, "I don't think humanity has evolved to the point of being able to comprehend what we're looking at right now. That is not a prepared statement. That is a human being confronting something their brain was not built to process. Let me walk you through the specific moment that changed all 4 of them. On April 6th, as Artemis II completed its closest approach to the lunar surface and began its arc back toward Earth, the crew witnessed something no human had seen in over 50 years, a solar eclipse from the moon. The sun disappeared behind the lunar disk, the corona flared around the edges, and in the blackness of the far side, in total radio silence, 4 people watched our star vanish. Wiseman's words, it was otherworldly, and it was amazing. But the eclipse was not the moment that undid them. The moment was what came next. As Orion swung back around the lunar limb, as the far side gave way to the near side, Earth reappeared in their windows, not as a landscape, not as a destination, as a marble, a blue-white disk suspended in absolute black. Every continent visible, every ocean, every person they had ever known on a sphere small enough to cover with a thumb held at arm's length. Christina Koch described it directly. One of her strongest revelations came while observing Earth appear tiny through the window, and all of the blackness around it. She said, and these are her words, "Planet Earth, you are a crew." Think about what that means. Seen from 250,000 miles away, every border disappears, every conflict, every division. What remains is a single fragile object, lit from one side, dark on the other, drifting through a void with no edge and no bottom. That is the overview effect. The cognitive shift that happens when a human being sees Earth from space with their own eyes, not on a screen, not in a photograph, through a window, real, small, alone. Every astronaut who has experienced it describes a version of the same thing. The sudden, visceral understanding that everything humanity has ever done, every war, every discovery, every life ever lived, happened on that single pale object floating in darkness. It does not leave you the same. The press conference went viral, not because of anything technical. It went viral because 4 of the most highly trained humans on Earth sat in front of cameras and could not hide what the moon had done to them. Glover said he had been avoiding social media since returning. Still processing. Still unpacking. Wiseman said the 4 of them are bonded forever, that nobody on the ground will ever fully know what they went through together. Koch said she would wake up in the mornings convinced she was still floating. But here is the deep sky Nexus angle, the part that matters beyond the emotion. What they saw from 250,000 miles away is also a warning. The moon they flew around is covered in impact craters, thousands of them, billions of years of cosmic bombardment recorded in rock that has no weather, no erosion, no mechanism to erase the scars. Every crater is a record of something that hit. Some of those impacts were large enough to have ended life on Earth if they had struck here instead. The moon is not just a destination, it is a reminder. The same solar system that produced the beauty those 4 astronauts wept over also produced every extinction event in Earth's history. We are going back to the moon. Artemis III targets low Earth orbit next year. Artemis IV aims for lunar soil in 2028. But what Artemis II showed us is that before we can live there, we need to understand what we are leaving behind. The moon did not change during Artemis II. The craters are the same. The silence is the same. The darkness on the far side is the same darkness it has always been. What changed was the 4 people who saw it. And maybe, through them, us. I want to ask you one question in the comments. If you were standing where they were, looking at Earth from the dark side of the moon, 250,000 miles from everyone you have ever loved, would you be terrified or inspired? Because that answer might tell you something about whether we are ready to go back. Subscribe to Deep Sky Nexus.